Hello there, Dragonfire here. Alright. I have finished reviewing the Friday the 13th franchise, all the um, weirdness, zaniness that is the Friday the 13th franchise, and all the different incarnations it's gone through, and everything like that. And so I wanted to hop on here and give one of my ranking videos. I need to rank the Friday the 13th franchise. So, how am I going to rank this franchise? First of all, I want to start by saying that this franchise for me is really one that I just have fun with and that I don't take super seriously. And for that reason, I don't hate any of the entries in the franchise that I rank really low on my list. Um, I do really enjoy the ones, especially the ones that rank higher on the list, and but to like a certain extent, I think I enjoy them all. Um, because I don't take the franchise that seriously, it's just like the franchise does deliver on what I want to see, which is uh, kills, the gore, the body count, the creative ways in which people die, and so that's something that I enjoy about the franchise. So I think that every movie in this franchise delivers on the main thing that a lot of horror fans want to see in each outing. It delivers on what you want to see from this franchise. So I enjoy that, and so I don't really dislike any of the movies in this franchise. But I'm here to give a ranking after my latest rewatch of all 12 movies now in this franchise. So let's get going. Alright, I'm going to kick things off with my number 12 because there are currently 12 movies in this franchise. My number 12, I'm going to have to give to Jason Takes Manhattan. I have this big box set here. Jason Takes Manhattan is the final movie in this 8-movie box set. So it is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. That one's going to get last place. This movie is enjoyable on a certain level, but um, it, there's so many things wrong with it. It doesn't deliver on its premise of Jason being set free in the streets of New York. It doesn't give you the most likable characters of the series, although a lot of entries in this franchise fall short in giving you memorable and likable characters and characters that you actually care about. But just the convoluted plot and the Jason on a boat and the incoherency of it, like when the main characters that are still alive at that point decide to exit the boat, like you could see from earlier shots in the movie that there were way more people on that boat. So people that we didn't see Jason kill. So did all those people just go down with the ship and drowned when the ship presumably went under? They didn't make an effort to save the rest of the people on the boat. Seems like so just plot holes like that. Um, but yeah, just um, it's okay. It's fun for what it is. I think Julius is a pretty cool character, and his death is really cool when he gets his head punched off with one blow. And Kane Hodder makes a good Jason. He's my favorite Jason, but still didn't not enough to save this movie from last place. But I think it's enjoyable for what it is. The part where you get to see Jason walking through Times Square is pretty cool, even if it's not not the best. Or you don't get enough of it, but when you do see it, it's pretty cool. All right, I think I'm going to do my number 11 for the original. Uh, the original Friday the 13th, 1980. Um, I know some people are going to be mad at me for ranking the original this low on the list. But then again, I think Friday the 13th is a franchise where almost none of its fans would pick the original as the best. There may be a few out there, but most people don't think that the original is the best in this franchise. One of the few franchises where almost nobody considers the original to be the best in the franchise. Again, I have fun with all of these movies, so it's not really an insult to be ranked number 11. But I just think that the characters are a bit dull. The movie takes a little bit too long um, in between the good parts, which are the kills and stuff. You don't really connect to most of the characters. It's fun for what it is, and the kills are good, and um, and it does set the foundation for what the rest of the franchise would be. But I just feel like it's you know, it's just a kind of it's fine for what it is type of thing, But you know, it's not it's not the most fun of the franchise, and that's kind of how I'm ranking them is how much fun I have watching them. So yeah. All right. After that, I'm going to have to go with um, part three. Part three in 3D. I may be pointing to the wrong ones here. It's kind of hard to see. I think I did point to the wrong ones a couple of times, but part three, it's fine. Yeah, that's actually where it is located in the box. I was pointing to part four as part eight. Whatever. Sorry about that, folks. But um, yeah, part three is one of the biggest things that holds part three back is the 3D gimmick and the unlikable characters and stuff. But that's par for the course for this franchise. I do kind of like the character of Shelley. Um, he is a bit of a boy who cried wolf because he does these stunts, and so when he actually dies, they think he's just doing another stunt, and so it's like a boy who cried wolf type gimmick with that. But I like the character who's kind of awkward and doesn't have a lot of self confidence, and um, I, he is very self conscious about being a little overweight. But I think if he projected more confidence in himself, he would actually be a much more likable guy, and he would have much better luck with the ladies. It's his own lack of self confidence around his kind of overweightness um, that holds him back in some ways, and so I find Shelley a little bit of an interesting character. And of course, that's where Jason gets his iconic mask. He gets it from Shelley. So it's a good entry in the franchise, but it's also not super interesting. Okay, my next pick is going to be part two. I do like the final girl in this. I believe her name is Allison. No, that's from part one. Jenny, yeah, the final girl Jenny in this one. Um, she is one of the smarter characters in the entire franchise. The way she uses her degree in, or well, she doesn't have the degree yet. I think she's still a college student. I think, or maybe she does. Maybe she finished college and she has the degree. Whatever way it is, I think she was still working on it. I think she's supposed to be a college student. So her child psychology um, degree to trick Jason and stuff like that. That's kind of a cool element to this one. But other than that, it's a pretty standard Friday the 13th movie. It's enjoyable enough, but not my favorite. Okay? Alright. Um, Number seven. Number seven on my countdown is going to be The New Beginning, or a new beginning, part five. Part five is number seven on my countdown. This one is one where I know that a lot of people really hate the fact that Jason isn't the killer. If you point out Jason isn't the killer in part one either, then they say, well, it's not a Voorhees. No, there's no Voorhees killer, and it's like, okay, fine, but if you look at what Pamela does in part one or what Jason does in the all the other movies, Roy Burns is doing the exact same thing that the rest of them would do, that the others would do. He's a Jason copycat. He dresses like Jason, and he kills people, and but he's killing people in the same way that Pamela or Jason would kill people. It's the same type of kills you get in part one, two, three, four, and even the entries afterwards. You know, it's the same type of movie. The only movie that differs significantly is, of course, Jason Goes to Hell. But all the other ones, like, he does the same thing that the rest of them would do. So to me, it's if you take out the Scooby Doo ending with the face reveal, you could just imagine that this was Jason killing all those people all the time. You know, it's a Jason copycat, and um, to me, it's not that different in tone, and I just find it a little bit more enjoyable than the movies that are a little lower on this list. When I was a kid, probably seeing this one for the first time in like, probably saw it in the late 80s or early 90s. Um, you know, some years after it came out, but you know, it's still saw it like early on as a kid, probably doing like a free preview of like HBO or Cinemax or something. Uh, and uh, this this one was probably my favorite right after I saw it. I mean, was my favorite for a while, but just because it had so much nudity in it, and I enjoyed that. You know, I was a young, young hormone-driven boy, or you could say dragon just hatched from the egg, and you know, hitting that age where you're driven by your hormones, and yeah, you just you have that. You enjoy that. You enjoy the nudity and stuff, and that's part of the fun stuff to me that keeps my attention in this entry in the franchise. So, anyway, that was my number seven. So, Jason Takes Manhattan Part 8 was my number 12. Uh, Number 11 was the original. Oh, I skipped number 10. Okay. Yeah, I skipped number 10. How to do that? Okay. I put my number 10 as the remake. So I did Jason Takes Manhattan as number 12, the original as number 11, number 10 was the remake. So yeah, this movie is. I respect what they're trying to do with this movie, and that's bring Jason back to the way audiences probably viewed him in the early 80s, with more fear and stuff, and they're trying to make Jason scary again. They're trying to just bring him back to his roots and abandon any of the comedy or supernatural elements that were added later. Right up until the very end of the movie, you could argue is supernatural at the very end, but other than that, they tried to make Jason scary and creepy and everything again. So yeah, the remake gets my number 10. I respect what they were trying to do, but the only reason it ranks this low is because it, for me, I just have more fun with the other entries. So number 12 was Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Uh, Number 11 was Friday the 13th, the remake. Or, sorry, Friday the 13th, the original, 1980. Then number 10 was Friday the 13th remake from 2009. Number 9 was Part 3 or 3D, Friday the 13th Part 3. Number 8, Friday the 13th Part 2. Number 7, Friday the 13th, The New Beginning, or A New Beginning, which is Part 5 in the series, Friday the 13th Part 5. Number 6 is Friday the 13th, The New Blood. Okay, I don't think I've talked about that one yet. So, let's talk about The New Blood. My favorite thing about this one is the fight scene at the end, and that they give Jason somebody to fight who can match strength with him. She can't match strength with him physically, but because she can use her telekinetic powers or telekinesis to move objects and stuff like that. Basically, she has these psychic powers or magic powers or whatever you want to call them that gives her a chance to fight Jason. So Jason's, especially at this point, because this is after Jason is raised from the dead and is now a supernatural zombie-like creature, a deadite, or whatever you want to call him. It is once Jason takes this form, he needs somebody on his own level to fight him. And so I kind of like this duel between the two of them. Jason, this unstoppable killing machine who just keeps coming, and this girl with these telekinetic powers to fight back against him. I really like that entry. Okay, my pick for number 4, that was... Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm not there yet. Number 6, my pick for the 6th entry in the franchise is... Or sorry, 5. My number 5 is Friday the 13th Part 6. So, yeah, with Friday the 13th Part 6, this one is the first one where we get zombie Jason. He raises from the dead. I know that this is some people's pick for their favorite of the franchise, and I get it, because I think all these movies are great, but so I wouldn't blame you no matter which one you picked as your favorite, but for Part 6, it's the return of Tommy Jarvis, the third one to have Tommy Jarvis. I already mentioned Part 5 in this review. Yeah, I think this is a fine movie. It's a fun movie. My second favorite version of Tommy in this movie. Yeah, I get a lot of enjoyment out of this one, and I think it was a great idea. And I think it's really cool that they bring Jason back from the dead. It was such a great idea. to raise him from the dead, and it's a fun movie. What can I say? So anyway, it gets ranked here on my list as my 5th favorite movie in the franchise. Don't have much to say other than it's an enjoyable watch, and bringing Jason back from the dead was a fantastic idea. Alright. Next up is my number 4, and it's going to be Freddy vs. Jason, which I have a copy of here with my Nightmare on Elm Street collection. Yeah, Freddy vs. Jason is it's a fun movie, and it delivers on what you want, which is to see Jason and Freddy fight each other. So you can't ask for much better than that, and this movie does it really, really well. So I really enjoy this, and the big fight scene between Freddy and Jason is exactly what you want, and who cares about the rest of the movie? Just have Jason and Freddy fight each other. They made like enormous amounts of cash on this movie. This movie was the highest grossing movie in either franchise. So, success. Let Freddy and Jason fight each other. I love it. Okay. So, alright, I want to give a recap of my ranking here. I covered the movies 12 through 4. With number 12, I got Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Number 11, I got Friday the 13th, the original from 1980. Number 10, I got Friday the 13th, the remake from 2009. Number 9, I got Friday the 13th, Part 3 in 3D. Number 8, I got Friday the 13th, Part 2. Number 7, I got Friday the 13th, Part 5, The New Beginning. Number 6, I got Friday the 13th, The New Blood, or Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Number 5, I got Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And number 4, I got Freddy vs. Jason. Alright, now moving on to my top three here for this ranking. And I am going to give my 3rd place to Jason X. I know some of you are really cringing right now, but I love this goofy, over-the-top sequel, Jason in Space. I know it's ridiculous. I love it. It's so much fun to me. One of the most fun movies on this list. This movie is really, really fun. So, yeah, just watch it and have fun with it. So, I enjoy Jason X. And now, for my 2nd place. My 2nd place is going to Jason Goes to Hell. I know some of you are probably going to be really, really mad that I ranked it this high, but I have fun with this movie. Now, if I were ranking these movies on how well, like what movies encapsulated the Friday the 13th franchise and what it was all about, I would rank this movie dead last, because it shouldn't be a Friday the 13th movie. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit into the franchise at all. I mean, this character is basically Jason Voorhees in name only. He's not. It's like a piece of psychedelic fan fiction. But all that being said, I enjoy this movie. I enjoy it so much. It makes me laugh so much. It just is so much fun, and that's why I give it my 2nd place, because I just have a whole lot of fun with this movie. Alright. But my first place is going to have to go to Friday the 13th, the final chapter, the fourth movie in the franchise, which was supposed to be the last ending movie of the franchise. Here, I'll point to it there. It's that one. So yeah, if someone were to ask me, could I get the best, best and most representative of what Friday the 13th is in just one movie, the final chapter is the one I'd tell them to watch. Um, it's very simple. It's just Jason killing people in this couple of houses by Crystal Lake, but it's the best version of that. It is the best version of that. And I love movies where the protagonists fight back against the antagonists and take matters into their own hands and stand up for themselves and fight back. And that's what Tommy and his sister do at the end of this movie, is they fight back. And Tommy especially just makes sure that Jason is dead. Like, that's what I would do if I were in a horror movie. I've seen enough horror movies to know the killer. You think the killer's dead, but he always comes back. Like, to me, I would just go ham on him, and I would just beat the crap out of him, because I would be like, no, I'm gonna live through this, and I'm gonna make sure he's dead. And that's what Tommy does. He takes this guy out and really kills Jason. So yeah, I really like it when movies do that. When the survivor of the movie just stands up and takes matters into their own hands and says, "I'm gonna fight back and I'm gonna kill." And that is what Tommy Jarvis does in this movie, and that's why it's my favorite. I just think it encapsulates all the good stuff from all the other entries, except for maybe Jason Goes to Hell, which is its own thing. But other than that, like, this is, you know, the most relatable characters that you'll ever get, in a Friday the 13th movie. Good acting. You can believe these are real life people to an extent. For most of the movie, they don't know what's going on. They don't realize they're getting picked off one by one, but once they do, they fight back. Um, yeah, I just love everything about the final chapter. It's really good. I love Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman. I love the Doublemint twins. It's got a nice portion of nudity in it, which always appealed to me when I was younger, but still appeals to me now as well. It's just not the only thing I look for in a movie nowadays. It's not my top priority anymore like it was when I was a bit younger. But I still enjoy it. It's got everything that I want from a Friday the 13th movie, honestly. And yeah, so yes, the final chapter is my number one. So I know I've given you some recaps, but just in case, we got number 12, Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8. Number 11, the original. Number 10, the remake. Number 9, 3D. Number 8, part 2. Number 7, part 5, A New Beginning. Number 6, part 7, The New Blood. Number 5, Jason Lives, which is part 6. Number 4, Freddy vs. Jason. Number 3, Jason X. Number 2, Jason Goes to Hell. And number 1, the final chapter. So part 4 takes my number 1 in this ranking. And if you like, leave me your ranking for the Friday the 13th franchise in the comment section. Alright, God bless everybody. Dragonfire out.